Have you ever walked past a classic car and felt like you were looking at a ghost? A legend whispered on the wind, a story just waiting to be told. We often think we know the heroes of the muscle car era. Names like the Impala SS, the GTO, the Mustang, they echo through history. But what if I told you that one of the most ferocious, dominant, and brilliantly engineered predators of the early 60 seconds has been hiding in plain sight, masquerading as a humble family sedan? You've probably heard the roar of the legendary 409 engine, maybe even hummed along to that iconic Beach Boys tune. You picture it nestled under the hood of a flashy 1962 Chevy Impala SS, the undisputed king of the boulevard. But that's only half the story. The Impala was the poster child, the polished celebrity. The real weapon, the secret handshake among those who lived their lives a quarter mile at a time, was its overlooked sibling, the 1962 Chevrolet Bel Air. This wasn't just another car. This was a calculated masterpiece of lightweight design and raw, untamed power. It was the drag racer's weapon of choice, a factory-built sleeper that came with some of the most audacious options ever offered to the public. Get ready, because over the next few minutes, we're going to uncover 13 astonishing facts about the 1962 Chevrolet Bel Air 409 Bubble Top. This journey will shatter everything you thought you knew about this forgotten monarch of the muscle car world. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll never look at a plain Jane Bel Air the same way again. Let's fire it up. Fact 1. The Bubble Top Enigma, an accidental masterpiece. Let's start with the most defining feature, a design element so beautiful it borders on automotive art, the bubble top roof. If you think this stunning, airy greenhouse was available across the Chevrolet lineup, you'd be mistaken. Here's a mind-blowing detail. In 1962, that gorgeous panoramic bubble top was exclusive to the Bel Air Sport Coupe. Not the top-of-the-line Impala, not the entry-level Biscayne, but the mid-tier, unassuming Bel Air. Chevrolet had carried over this sleek, wrap-around glass design from the 1961 hardtop models, creating a profile that was less car and more spaceship. It gave the Bel Air an impossibly light and athletic stance. But the real magic wasn't just in its stunning looks. The crazy part? This design choice made the Bel Air Sport Coupe approximately 70 pounds lighter than its more decorated Impala counterpart. Now, 70 pounds might not sound like a game changer when you're hauling groceries, but in the world of drag racing, it's an eternity. It's the razor-thin margin between victory and the bitter taste of defeat, the difference between seeing a trophy in your hands and watching someone else's taillights disappear into the darkness. But the genius of the bubble top didn't stop there. It was an aerodynamic marvel born almost by accident. During wind tunnel testing, Chevrolet's engineers discovered that the sleek, uninterrupted curve of the roofline significantly improved the car's aerodynamics at high speeds. It cut through the air with an efficiency the more formal, squared-off Impala roofline simply couldn't match. Racers, the true innovators of the era, quickly connected the dots. Less weight plus better airflow? It was the perfect storm. The Bel Air Bubble Top became their undisputed secret weapon, a factory-blessed cheat code for total quarter-mile domination. Fact 2. The 409 powerhouse marketing magic meets engineering brilliance. Let's talk about the heart of the beast, the legendary 409. The top-tier version, equipped with dual 4-barrel carburetors, had a power rating that was pure marketing poetry, exactly 409 horsepower. This wasn't just a number, it was a statement. It achieved that holy grail of engine performance, the magical 1 horsepower per cubic inch ratio, a benchmark that engineers had relentlessly pursued for years. But this perfect number was no happy accident. It was a meticulously calculated feat of engineering. Chevrolet's finest minds specifically tuned the dual Carter AFB carburetors, pairing them with a high-lift, solid-lifter camshaft to hit that precise 409 horsepower mark. The entire setup was a symphony of performance parts working in perfect harmony. It was so finely tuned that even changing the factory air cleaner could rob the engine of a few precious ponies. Here's where it gets truly wild. The marketing department might have been married to the 409 number, but the engineers knew the engine had a lot more to give. Internal dyno testing revealed that this motor could effortlessly churn out 425 horsepower, maybe more, without breaking a sweat. But the allure of 409 on the fender, 409 under the hood was simply too powerful to ignore. And don't think those dual quad carbs were just for show. Combined, they could flow a staggering 850 cubic feet of air per minute, CFM. To put that into perspective, that's enough air to literally create a small vortex under the hood, a voracious, air-gulping monster ready to be unleashed at the tap of a pedal. Fact 3. The budget racer's dream, the single quad sleeper. While the dual quad 409 grabbed the headlines, Chevrolet knew that not everyone had the deep pockets for the top dog engine. So they offered a smarter, more clandestine option, the poverty spec 409. This version came with a single potent 4-barrel carburetor and still produced a tire-shredding 380 horsepower. This was the engine the truly savvy racers ordered. Why? For about $200 less than its dual-quad sibling, a significant sum in 1962, you got 93% of the raw performance, but with two massive advantages: superior reliability and dramatically easier tuning. This budget beast was no watered-down pretender. It shared the same heroic internals as its more expensive brother, the same forged steel crankshaft, the same heavy-duty connecting rods, and the same aggressive solid lifter camshaft. The only significant difference lay in the intake manifold and carburetor setup. This is where the plot thickens. Many seasoned racers preferred the single-quad engine, while the dual-quad drivers were constantly wrestling with carburetor synchronization, fuel jetting, and linkage adjustments. The single-carb racers were laying down consistent, brutally effective passes one after another. Their reliability was rock solid. Plus, there was a stealth advantage. That single 4-barrel was much easier to disguise under a stock-looking air cleaner, making it the perfect weapon for the clandestine world of late-night street racing. It was the ultimate run-what-you-brung hustler. Fact 4. The manual mandate, no automatics allowed. Here's a piece of trivia that shocks almost everyone. In 1962, if you wanted the earth-shattering power of a 409 engine, you had to be willing to do the work yourself. It was absolutely impossible to order a 409 with Chevrolet's famous PowerGlide automatic transmission. Your only choices were a rugged 3-speed manual or the now legendary Borg-Warner T10 4-speed manual. The reason was simple and brutal. The PowerGlide was a weakling that couldn't handle the 409's sheer, unadulterated torque. We're talking about an engine that generated a colossal 420 pounds-ft of twist. The PowerGlide of that era was rated to handle a maximum of 350 pounds-ft. Pushing it any further was a recipe for catastrophic failure. Chevrolet's engineers valiantly tried to fortify the PowerGlide's internals, but their own testing proved it was a fool's errand. The beefed-up prototypes would spectacularly self-destruct, or grenade, as they called it after about 10 hard, full-throttle launches. While the 3-speed manual was a surprisingly tough unit, sharing its basic design with medium-duty trucks, the undisputed champion was the T10 4-speed. When properly built, it could handle over 500 pounds-tash of torque. This transmission by necessity ultimately bolstered the 409's mystique. It forced every owner to be an active participant in the driving experience, rowing their own gears and making every stoplight launch feel like a final round showdown at the drag strip. Fact 5. The ultimate sleeper interior, Grandma's couch in a 12-second rocket. Picture this. You've just ordered a brand new 1,962 Bel Air with the 409 engine. You have a machine capable of humiliating Corvettes and reducing tires to smoke. But when you open the door, what do you find? A vast, slippery, vinyl bench seat, straight out of your grandma's grocery getter. That's right, bucket seats, the hallmark of a true sports machine, were an exclusive luxury reserved for the Impala SS package. Every Bel Air buyer, regardless of the monster lurking under the hood, was destined to slide across that bench seat during any attempt at hard cornering. But this created the most perfect sleeper setup imaginable. To the unsuspecting world, it looked like Dad's sensible, practical family car. But a quick pop of the hood revealed 409 cubic inches of pure, unadulterated intimidation. And just like with the single quad engine, racers found a hidden advantage here. That humble bench seat was about 35 pounds lighter than the two bucket seats and center console found in the Impala SS. In the quest for speed, every ounce counts. Plus, it offered a practical benefit for the late-night racing scene. you could fit your buddy right next to you for those adrenaline-fueled adventures. To combat the sliding, some resourceful hot rodders would engage in a bit of grassroots engineering, bolting a piece of angle iron to the transmission tunnel to brace themselves during violent launches. It was crude but brutally effective. Fact 6. Spotting a legend. The two taillight tell. In the world of classic cars, authenticity is everything. So, here's the single quickest and most reliable way to spot a genuine 1962 Bel Air 409 from a clever fake. Simply count the taillights. A true Bel Air came with two large, round taillights on each side. The fancier Impala was distinguished by its signature triple taillight setup. This one, seemingly minor detail, has been the downfall of more clone cars and forgeries than any other feature. Why is this so crucial? Because over the decades, countless people have tried to pass off more common Bel Airs as the more desirable Impalas. Even more nefariously, some have tried to create tribute Bel Air 409 seconds out of Impalas, hoping to cash in on the Bel Air's rarity and racing pedigree. This design choice wasn't purely about cutting costs. The Bel Air's dual taillights were actually larger in diameter than the individual lights on the Impala, providing superior visibility at night. This was a feature racers secretly loved. It made their brake lights burn just a little brighter for the poor soul they had just blown past on the drag strip. You couldn't just swap them out either. The sheet metal and the depth of the taillight buckets were different between the models. So if someone tries to sell you a rare Bel Air 409, but it's sporting a trio of taillights, you know to walk away. Fact 7. A one-year badge of honor, the emblem anomaly. For the die-hard collectors, the devil is always in the details. And for the 1962 model year, Chevrolet created a unique, one-year-only quirk that has become an obsession for enthusiasts. It's all about the placement of the fender emblems. In 1962, and only in 1962, the 409 fender emblems were positioned below a set of cross flag emblems. This specific arrangement became an instant identifier for this legendary model year. By 1963, the 409 was moved above the flags, and by 1964, the flags had vanished entirely from the full-size line. So why the change after just 1 year? The reason is surprisingly practical. The original placement put the 409 emblem right in the line of fire for mud and road grime slung up by the front tires. Owners were complaining that their badges of honor, their emblems of pride and joy, were constantly caked in dirt. There's even an official Chevrolet service bulletin from late 1962 that instructs dealers on how to relocate the emblems for any customers who were particularly unhappy about it. Today, that original below-the-flags placement is like a fingerprint, a crucial piece of evidence used to authenticate a true 1962-409. While reproduction emblems are easy to find, the original mounting holes in the fender tell the real story. Fact 8. Unlocking secret power with RPO codes. In the world of General Motors, RPO stands for Regular Production Option, and these codes were the secret language that dictated exactly how a car was built. If you knew how to read the build sheet, you could unlock the car's true identity. RPO 580 got you the formidable 380 horsepower single quad 409. But the code that made hearts pound was RPO 587. This signified the full fury 409 horsepower dual quad monster. But here is a secret that even many experts don't know. Late in the 1962 production run, Chevrolet's engineers quietly made some running changes to the RPO 587 engines. They introduced cylinder heads with bigger valves and revised the camshaft timing. They never bothered to officially change the horsepower rating. It stayed at 409, but the real-world output of these late production engines was actually closer to 425 horsepower. Racers who were in the know quickly caught on. They discovered that engines built after April of 1962 were noticeably faster. These engines had different casting marks on the heads and a revised distributor curve. Some savvy dealers would even hold on to these hotter, late-build cars, selling them at a premium to competitive racers. Today, a documented, late-production RPO 587 car is the absolute holy grail for collectors. Fact 9. The featherweight champion. Why racers chose Bel Air. This is a fact that must have driven Chevrolet's marketing department completely insane. Their flagship, the Impala SS, was the car they pushed in all their advertising. But when it came to the crucible of the drag strip, serious, competitive racers overwhelmingly chose the cheaper, humbler Bel Air. The reason wasn't about style or status, it was about pure, unadulterated physics. When you factored in all the extra chrome trim, sound-deadening material, and plusher interior appointments, a Bel Air bubble top was nearly 150 pounds lighter than a comparably equipped Impala hardtop. In stock class drag racing, where every hundredth of a second is a lifetime, that weight advantage was a tactical nuclear weapon. Legendary racers like Dave Strickler became famous for special ordering Bel Airs with even more weight-saving delete options, which brings us to our next point. Fact 10. Factory built for the strip, the art of deletion. When you hear factory options, you think of things being added to a car. But in 1962, Chevrolet would happily let you remove things to make your Bel Air a more focused, hardcore racing machine. You could order your Bel Air 409 with RPO codes for a heater delete and a radio delete. These weren't crude, dealer-installed block-off plates. These were genuine, factory-stamped steel plates that covered the holes in the dashboard. The heater delete saved a crucial 35 pounds and dramatically cleaned up the engine bay. The radio delete shed another 15 pounds and eliminated the drag-inducing antenna. The truly hardcore racers didn't stop there. They would order their cars with both deletes, plus manual steering and manual brakes, creating a vehicle that was utterly punishing to drive on the street, but was an absolute weapon at the drag strip. What's truly incredible is that Chevrolet essentially paid you to make your car faster. These delete options actually reduced the final price of the car. A fully deleted Bel Air 409 could be hundreds of dollars cheaper than a fully loaded Impala, all while being significantly faster in the quarter mile. The delete plates themselves have now become sought-after collector's items, with genuine factory plates fetching hundreds of dollars today. Fact 11. The W Series Marvel and upside-down engine. The 409 was part of Chevrolet's W Series family of engines, and it featured a truly bizarre and brilliant piece of engineering that set it apart from everything else on the road. The combustion chamber was not in the cylinder head. It was machined directly into the top of the engine block. This unconventional design, which featured a 74-degree deck angle, is what necessitated those iconic, scallop-shaped valve covers that everyone recognizes. Those valve covers weren't a styling choice, they were a functional necessity to provide clearance for the uniquely angled valve train. This design allowed Chevrolet's engineers to use enormous valves and create massive intake and exhaust ports, all while keeping the engine's external dimensions compact enough to fit comfortably in the car's engine bay. The downside was that this unique architecture made machine work incredibly critical. An uninformed mechanic could easily ruin a W Series block by decking it like a conventional engine, destroying the combustion chamber shape and killing its power. This exclusivity has made original W Series parts, especially those distinctive scallop valve covers, incredibly valuable today. Fact 12. The soundtrack of a generation, the Beach Boys' Blessing. You can't talk about the 409 without mentioning the song that made it a household name. In 1962, the Beach Boys released their hit single, 409, immortalizing the engine in the annals of pop culture forever. She's real fine, my 409. But here's a fun piece of trivia for you. The song's lyrics specifically mention a 4-speed, dual quad, Positraction 409. This combination of high-performance options was technically the signature of the Impala SS package, not the Bel Air. The story goes that songwriter Brian Wilson had seen a 409-powered Chevy at a local drag strip and was so blown away by its presence and power that he went home and wrote the song that very night. The lyrics perfectly captured the raw excitement of the early 60 seconds hot rodding scene, even if a few of the technical details were slightly mixed up. The song was a cultural phenomenon. It caused a massive spike in 409 sales in late 1962 and early 1963. Chevrolet dealers reported customers walking into showrooms, literally singing the song, and asking for one of whatever the Beach Boys are singing about. The greatest irony of all? Brian Wilson didn't even have a driver's license when he wrote the song. He just fell in love with the thunderous sound of those dual quads opening up. Fact 13. The Quarter Mile Kings and the Ultimate Secret Weapon. The 1962 NHRA drag racing season wasn't just a success for the Bel Air 409, it was a massacre. These cars, driven by legends like Dandy, Don Nicholson, and Dave Strickler in his famous Old Reliable, completely dominated the factory series. These weren't exotic, tube-frame race cars. They were showroom vehicles, racing in series that required factory parts and specifications. Strickler's Bel Air was a marvel of consistency, making pass after pass in the 12.8-second range like a metronome. He would park his modest Bel Air in the pit lanes, looking like he was on his way to the grocery store, and then systematically dismantle purpose-built race cars. The Bel Air 409 seconds were so dominant that the NHRA was forced to create new series and revise the rules just to give other manufacturers a chance to compete. But there was a final, top-secret chapter to this story. As a final blow to the competition, Chevrolet's racing division secretly built exactly 15 superstock Bel Airs with an all-aluminum front end. The fenders, inner fenders, hood, front bumper, and their supports were all made of lightweight aluminum, shaving an incredible 200 pounds directly from the front of the car. These cars were not purchasable. They were delivered to the top factory-sponsored racing teams. They were nearly unbeatable in their class. Most were used in intense racing and then destroyed, but a select few survived in private collections, representing the absolute pinnacle of the 1962 Bel Air 409. From an accidental aerodynamic masterpiece to a lightweight secret weapon that dominated the drag strip, the 1962 Chevrolet Bel Air 409 is much more than a forgotten family car. It is a testament to an era when engineers and drivers conspired to build legends directly on the factory assembly line. It was the thinking man's muscle car, the choice of champions, and the true unsung king of its era. Now, I want to hear from you. The stories of these cars aren't just in books, they're in the memories of the people who owned them, raced them, and loved them. Have you ever owned a 1962 Bel Air, or perhaps an Impala with that legendary 409? Do you have a story about one of these incredible machines? Share your experience in the comments below. Let's build a community around these incredible pieces of automotive history. Your story helps keep the legend alive. And if you enjoyed this deep dive and want to discover more secrets from the golden age of motorsports, do us a huge favor. Click like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventure. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.